The Pathfinder Volume 30, Tailoring for Clinical Phase Appropriate, Why One Size Does Not Fit All in Regulatory Drug Development.
In this audiocast, we discuss the importance of ensuring compliance in the chemistry, manufacturing, and controls regulatory submission of pharmaceutical products. The CMC section of a regulatory submission provides detailed information about the drug product's composition, manufacturing process, and quality control, and any deficiencies in this submission can lead to delays in approval or even rejection of the application. An effective CMC strategy must encompass a clear understanding of regulatory guidelines, effective project management, comprehensive quality control, continuous communication with regulatory agencies, and robust documentation. Additionally, the article emphasizes the importance of balancing risk tolerance, resource allocation, and regulatory compliance when developing a CMC strategy. The core strategic elements of an effective CMC strategy include embracing all CMC regulatory requirements and compliance activities, aligning to strategic guidance, and meeting minimum GMP requirements.
Chemistry, manufacturing, and controls regulatory compliance is crucial for pharmaceutical companies to obtain marketing authorization from regulatory agencies. The CMC section of a regulatory submission provides detailed information about the drug product's composition, manufacturing process, and quality control. The CMC submission is reviewed by regulatory agencies to ensure the drug product's safety, efficacy, and quality. Any deficiency in the CMC submission can lead to delays in approval or even rejection of the application. To ensure regulatory compliance in CMC submission authoring, sponsors must have an effective CMC strategy in place. An effective CMC strategy should encompass the following. The pharmaceutical company must have a clear understanding of the regulatory guidelines governing the CMC submission. The regulatory guidelines provide information on the information required for the submission, the format of the submission, and the timelines for submission. The company must ensure that the CMC submission meets the regulatory requirements. Effective project management is crucial to ensuring the timely completion of the CMC submission. The pharmaceutical company must have a dedicated project team responsible for the CMC submission. The team should have a clear understanding of the timelines, milestones, and deliverables for the submission. Comprehensive quality control is essential for ensuring the quality of the drug product. The pharmaceutical company must have a quality control system in place that ensures that the drug product meets the required specifications and standards. The quality control system should encompass all aspects of the manufacturing process, including raw materials, equipment, and personnel. Continuous communication with regulatory agencies is crucial for ensuring that the CMC submission meets the regulatory requirements. The company must also provide timely responses to any queries raised by the regulatory agencies. Robust documentation is essential for ensuring the completeness and accuracy of the CMC submission. The pharmaceutical company must have a comprehensive documentation system that records all aspects of the manufacturing process. The documentation system should include records of raw materials, equipment, personnel, manufacturing procedures, and quality control procedures. An effective CMC strategy is possible through a comprehensive approach that involves balancing risk tolerance, resource allocation, and regulatory compliance. The CMC strategy should be tailored to the specific needs of the drug product and the company, taking into account the complexity of the manufacturing process, the regulatory requirements, and the available resources. One of the key forces that shape the CMC strategy is risk tolerance. Risk tolerance refers to the level of risk that a company is willing to accept in the manufacturing process. Pharmaceutical companies must strike a balance between risk and benefit when developing their CMC strategy. They must consider the potential risks associated with the manufacturing process, such as contamination, variability, and scalability, while also considering the benefits of the product, such as its effectiveness, safety, and commercial viability. Another force that shapes the CMC strategy is resource allocation. Resource allocation refers to the allocation of resources, such as time, money, and personnel, to the CMC submission process. Pharmaceutical companies must allocate resources effectively to ensure the timely completion of the CMC submission while also meeting the regulatory requirements. This involves prioritizing activities based on their importance, ensuring that the necessary resources are available, and monitoring progress to ensure that the project remains on track. Despite efforts to balance risk tolerance and resource allocation, there usually is never enough of either. The regulatory landscape is constantly evolving, and pharmaceutical companies must adapt their CMC strategies accordingly. This requires ongoing investment in research and development, as well as continuous improvement of the manufacturing process. In addition, companies must continually monitor and mitigate risks throughout the manufacturing process to ensure that the final product meets regulatory requirements and is safe for patients. The development of an effective CMC strategy involves a range of core strategic elements that embrace all CMC regulatory requirements and compliance activities, align with strategic guidance, and meet minimum GMP requirements. These core elements include: pharmaceutical companies must ensure that their CMC strategy embraces all regulatory requirements and compliance activities. This includes ensuring that all CMC data and documentation are complete, accurate, and in compliance with regulatory guidelines. Companies must also ensure that they have appropriate quality control procedures in place, including personnel, facilities, equipment, and materials. The International Council for Harmonization guidelines provide a framework for pharmaceutical development and manufacturing. Pharmaceutical companies must ensure that their CMC strategy aligns with strategic guidances, such as Q8, Q9, Q10, and Q11. These guidances provide a comprehensive approach to pharmaceutical development and manufacturing, including risk management, quality control, and continuous improvement. Good manufacturing practice requirements provide a framework for ensuring the quality, safety, and efficacy of pharmaceutical products. Pharmaceutical companies must ensure that their CMC strategy meets minimum GMP requirements. This includes ensuring that all manufacturing processes are well controlled, monitored, and documented, and that all personnel involved in the manufacturing process are appropriately trained. By embracing all CMC regulatory requirements and compliance activities, aligning with strategic guidances, and meeting minimum GMP requirements, pharmaceutical companies can develop a robust CMC strategy that ensures the quality, safety, and efficacy of their products. An effective CMC strategy should be based on a comprehensive understanding of the manufacturing process, including the materials used, the equipment and facilities, the personnel involved, and the quality control procedures in place. It should also be supported by a strong quality management system that includes continuous improvement and risk management processes. By investing in a robust CMC strategy, pharmaceutical companies can ensure the timely approval of their marketing authorization application and the successful commercialization of their products. One important consideration during the clinical phase is ensuring that the development program is phase appropriate. This means that the design, execution, and analysis of clinical studies are appropriate for the specific phase of development. For example, a Phase 1 clinical trial is designed to evaluate the safety and tolerability of the drug, while a Phase 3 trial is designed to demonstrate the efficacy of the drug in a larger patient population. It is important to recognize that one size does not fit all when it comes to designing clinical trials. The clinical development program for a drug must be tailored to the specific characteristics of the drug, such as its pharmacological properties, mechanism of action, target patient population, and the nature of the disease being treated. For example, a drug that is intended for use in a rare disease may require a different clinical development program compared to a drug intended for use in a common disease. Another important consideration during the clinical phase is the availability of resources, including financial resources, personnel, and time. Clinical trials can be expensive and time-consuming, and it is important to ensure that resources are allocated appropriately. This requires careful planning and prioritization to ensure that the most important questions are addressed in the most efficient and effective manner possible. In conclusion, ensuring regulatory compliance in CMC submission authoring requires an effective CMC strategy. An effective CMC strategy should encompass a clear understanding of regulatory guidelines, effective project management, comprehensive quality control, continuous communication with regulatory agencies, and robust documentation. By implementing an effective CMC strategy, pharmaceutical companies can ensure timely approval of their marketing authorization application. A CMC strategy outlines the approach to developing and manufacturing a drug product, including the analytical methods used for testing the product's quality and safety. Developing a CMC strategy requires a comprehensive understanding of the drug substance, the manufacturing process, and the final drug product. The following steps can help develop an effective CMC strategy. Define the critical quality attributes of the drug product. Develop analytical methods to measure the CQAS. Define the manufacturing process, including raw materials, equipment, and controls. Develop a quality control strategy, including specifications and testing methods. Conduct stability studies to ensure the drug product's quality over time. Ensuring regulatory compliance in CMC submission authoring requires a detailed understanding of regulatory requirements and guidelines. The following steps can help ensure regulatory compliance. Understand the regulatory requirements and guidelines for CMC submissions. Ensure that the CMC strategy meets regulatory requirements and guidelines. Use validated analytical methods for testing the drug product's quality and safety. Use validated manufacturing processes and equipment. Ensure that the quality control strategy meets regulatory requirements and guidelines. Conduct stability studies in compliance with regulatory requirements and guidelines. Developing an effective CMC strategy requires a comprehensive approach that considers risk tolerance, resource allocation, and regulatory compliance. While there is never enough time or resources to fully eliminate risks, companies can minimize risks by investing in research and development, continuously improving the manufacturing process, and monitoring and mitigating risks throughout the manufacturing process. With a robust CMC strategy in place, pharmaceutical companies can navigate the regulatory landscape and ensure the timely approval of their marketing authorization application. Finally, the role of clinical phase appropriate is critical during the drug development process. It involves tailoring the clinical development program to the specific characteristics of the drug, considering the available resources, and ensuring that the design, execution, and analysis of clinical studies are appropriate for the specific phase of development. By taking a tailored approach to clinical development, pharmaceutical companies can increase the likelihood of regulatory approval, reduce the time and cost of development, and ultimately bring safe and effective therapies to patients in need.
Thank you for listening to this audiocast. Are you an emerging biotech or established pharmaceutical company struggling to keep up with the ever-changing landscape of drug regulations? Look no further than Incrissi. We are the leading consulting group helping organizations comply with drug regulations through a comprehensive drug development model incorporating augmented intelligence and data analytics. Our industry experts can guide you through the complex world of compliance, making it more manageable than ever. With our Reimagining Regulatory Pathways services, we can help you design and implement best practices to streamline your operation and ensure you stay in line with current legislation. Our range of services covers regulatory drug development's technical and strategic aspects. Let us help you develop an overall strategy that accounts for all potential risks while still being able to meet your objectives. Visit our website at www.enkrisi.com to learn more and get started on the path to regulatory compliance success.